You guys want to experience what it's like to be a Buckeye? I told them before we started this video I was going to be corny. I'm Steven, that's Stefan, and that's Andrew. Ryan Day is 70-10 as Ohio State's head coach, and no win is more important than that 70th game where he beat Notre Dame 34-23 in the national championship game. We did a video similar to this before the game, back when we were in the Woody before we left for Atlanta. But Stefan, he's done it now. This is now the third straight Ohio State coach to win a national title. He joins Urban Meyer, he joins Jim Tressel, he joins Woody Hayes, who has a statue in front of the building that's also named after him that Ohio State practices. How does this just change everything for Ryan Day? I don't even know how to specify that question.
It changes his entire legacy. It changes everything about how he's thought of around Ohio State. Any caveat you throw of, well, he's lost these games against Michigan, well, he's done this, well, it all goes away when you say he is a national championship winning coach. He is one of three active coaches with Dabo Swinney and Kirby Smart to have a national championship to his name. I caught up a bit with Jim Tressel after the game because I wanted to get his sense of the magnitude of this moment. And he had so much praise for the stuff that Ryan Day has gone through to get to this point. And I think that Ryan Day has the respect of a lot of coaches around the country, former and current coaches, because this run is more than assembling a good roster and winning, X amount of games to win a national championship. This run has been about handling pressure and handling or showing an aspect of mental toughness that not many programs have to deal with, right? Like there's a lot to have to flip the switch from losing the Michigan game to get to this point. There's a lot to have to flip the switch from not winning Big Ten titles the last X amount of years, not winning a national championship the last X amount of years. There's a lot that goes into it. And he has managed it and done it in a way where now the conversation completely shifts. We can talk about Ryan Day as one of the best coaches in college football. You know why? Because he's 70-10 and he has won a national championship. Like, that's it. That's the end of the debate. He is one of the best coaches in college football. You can say that firmly now. It's impressive what he's done. It's changed his legacy. He was asked by Ari Wasserman after the game, have you thought about the fact that in 30 years you're going to come back to Ohio Stadium and there's going to be a standing ovation for you? No matter what happens, on the field moving forward, this team is going to be celebrated and they're going to come back and there's going to be an ovation waiting for them. And Ryan didn't really have too much of a specific answer. I think it's all still kind of sinking in for him and these players. But that is this moment. That is how quickly a legacy can change, and we saw it happen live right in front of our eyes here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, and it's going to be amazing and very interesting to watch just how fans talk about Ryan Day differently, how media, whoever it may be, how he's talked about differently because he won these four games and specifically this game. It changes everything.
Ryan, what does this change for Ryan Day, how he's viewed, especially as we head off into the future where things going to look really different in 9 months?
Well, it changes a lot, and Stefan hit on that, but I just think there's maybe a part of this that, we need to discuss, and that's the player development under Ryan Day's program that I think has really maybe gone unnoticed. I think so many people, want to talk, Ryan Day, offensive coach, schemes up ball, can put guys in the right positions. Tonight, the game for me, we talk so much about X's and O's. It was Jimmy's and Joe's. And it was Ohio State had the better players than Notre Dame did. It was as simple as that. And that is a credit to Ryan Day. And I think Ryan Day deserves a lot of credit for that because Jack Sawyer's not on this team if he doesn't have that bond with Ryan Day and he just hated playing for him and things were a mess, right? Like these players are not on this team right now if Ryan Day did not corral them after last year and kind of help lead that charge. Yeah, the players had a lot to do with that. Yeah, there were other things that go into that. But Ryan Day is part of that as well, and that can't get forgotten too. So when you talk about Ryan Day, the development of this program, the talent that is in this program, that's all a credit to him as well. So, Brian Hartline's a great coach. Brian Hartline's a great receivers coach. Tim Walton's a great cornerbacks coach. Starts at the top. And I think Ryan Day deserves a heck of a lot of credit for what he's done to bring the talent in, to keep it here. Because Jeremiah Smith on that last play just blew by somebody and made that game-winning catch. And we saw how many times did we look in the playoffs and just kind of laugh at each other and go, Jack Sawyer just did some of the craziest things I've ever seen. He had like 2 batted passes and a sack on this drive, and he had 2 more sacks on this drive. And he had one of the greatest plays in Ohio State history on another game. It was like, some of these guys are not around, and some of these moments are not possible if Ryan Day's not the head coach. And I think what he did to corral that talent, to keep that talent on the roster, and then to keep it going cohesively, because things looked really dicey after that Michigan game. And people talked about that. There was a big-time meeting after that game of just, where are we? What do we need to do? How do we need to fix things? What are our problems? And Ryan Day sounds like he owned a lot of things in that meeting, and he deserves a heck of a lot of credit for that, because when you have a lot of talent on a roster, that's one thing. Talent doesn't always win games. But tonight, I think talent won the game for him because he allowed it to be in that position. He allowed it to be in that perspective. So Ryan Day, for as much as we're going to talk about everything else, the legacy, the scheme, everything, keeping these players on this roster together, keeping these players on this roster long-term, absolute credit to him.
Talent doesn't always win games. That's literally the first 5 years of the Ryan Day era.
Yes.
There's some of the most ridiculous talent. I've watched Chase Young, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. I can keep going, right? I can just keep going with that. You guys hit on some things that I think are very, very important. For starters, he's 70-10, and he has one bad loss, and it sparked 70. It sparked why we're standing here right now in a bunch of confetti with a bunch of scarlet around us. That bad loss sparked 4 of the most amazing wins I've ever seen since covering the beat. To your point, these players love him.
Yes.
Like, love him. And why am I saying that? Because college football has changed a lot, right? There's a million different reasons why players go to different schools. There's a million different reasons why players leave school. These players love him.
Yes.
And that's what it used to be about. Can you get this player to fall in love with you and your vision and your idea and then go execute it? That's what we just saw tonight. A bunch of, yes, of course, they all get paid. And they're all, okay, it's not like they're out here playing for free anymore, right? But
They are compensated.
this isn't the only place they can go get paid. It's not. And they love this dude. In fact, there's a bigger league than this called the NFL, where most of them probably should be right now. But they love this dude. And they felt like, we can't watch this dude suffer because we're not getting the job done. And he's looking at them like, I can't watch them suffer because I'm not getting the job done. That's his legacy. Even in this world of everything is crazy, there's a million things happening. I don't even know what college football is going to look like in 2 weeks. They're already talking about changing the college football playoff, and we just got to 12 teams yesterday. But know this, these players in that locker room love this dude, and it's why they won a national championship. And I don't know what's going to happen next, but trust me, these guys love him. And you're talking about the question you got asked about the 30 years. This season started with Ohio State honoring the last coach they all loved when they won a national championship 10 years ago. That's what we're going to see. Whether it's Ryan Day still here or it's somebody else, the last 2-3 years, I've watched Jim Tressel get carried off of the field because of what he did in 2002. I've watched Urban Meyer get honored for what he did in 2014. That's Ryan Day. He's going to get honored and loved by the fan base the same way he's loved by his players because he finally broke through. We'll continue to talk about this. Go ahead.
I just want to say one thing. You brought up Urban. This is a bigger discussion, and maybe we'll have it on Buckeye Talk in the near future. In the near future, 70-10 with the national championship. Ryan Day is right on pace for a Hall of Fame career.
Oh, that?
Like, that is no debate. There's no debate. And it's so funny, like, the conversations that have always lingered about him. It's like, if he could just win the national title, like, he is a Hall of Fame coach. Like, he is there. He's getting there. I mean, if he retired tomorrow, I'm sure there'll be a discussion.
And we're getting close. I don't have the exact number on me, but if he wins the first couple games of next season, and obviously Texas is that first game, he has the best winning percentage in college football coaching history. He is going to knock off somebody by the name of Newt Rockne. Perhaps you've heard of Newt Rockne, one of the pillars of the sport, who coached at the school that Ryan Day just beat. So that's where we're going to be at with Ryan Day. And it is unbelievable where we were at 2 months ago. Not even 4 hours ago, 6 weeks ago.
You had to win, though. Like, you had to win the title. Winning the title changed. Like, 4 hours ago, we were not having this discussion. He had to win this game for us to have the discussion. That goes back to the point. Like, what does this game do? What does winning a national title do? It has changed the entire narrative around Ryan Day.
It's also more than just the narrative of Ryan Day for this particular game, because, like, once you got through a couple of games, it was, okay, well, if they do this, we were talking, like, okay, what happens if they lose to Tennessee? Okay, what happens if this, because when you lose to Michigan, everything is on the table, and now we're here. They had lost to Michigan. They walked off the field. Think about that scene. We were all on the field. We were all in the tunnels. The scene of pepper spray and players walking off the field crying and people are swearing and people trying to fight everybody. Imagine if I told you guys then this is where we'd be. Unbelievable that we are now here with Ryan Day, because at that time, I don't think anybody would have said in a couple of weeks we're going to be having this conversation with Ryan Day.
And now everybody loves him. As much as these players, that's the point.
They chanted Ryan Day after the game. The fans were chanting Ryan Day. Unbelievable scene.
We're going to continue to talk about this on Buckeye Talk Every Fine podcast. Everybody loves Ryan Day now. And to you guys' point, this dude is on pace to maybe be the greatest coach in college football history, which is a weird thing to say. But everybody loves him now, and that's the point. Get the text 614-350-3315. Stefan, Andrew, Steven, there's confetti in front of me.